All right, welcome to the Explainer. We're heading to the gym today, but not for a workout. Nope. We're here to unpack a really strange paradox. You see, everyone seems obsessed with fitness, right? So, why on earth are so many gyms going broke?
Okay, so let's really get into this. On one hand, the fitness market in Taiwan is absolutely exploding. More people are signing up than ever before. But then you've got these huge, famous chains, think 300 Strong, True Yoga, just collapsing, left and right. It doesn't make any sense, does it? So what is really going on?
Right, so to get a handle on this, you gotta understand the battlefield. And that's exactly what it is. In fact, a lot of industry experts are calling this the warring states period for gyms, a totally chaotic, super intense free-for-all where only the absolute strongest, and frankly, the smartest, are gonna make it out alive.
Okay, let's put some numbers to this. Since 2020, the number of actual gyms went up by about 20%. Now, you might think, hey, that's pretty good growth, but hold on. The number of competitors in the same period, it shot up by a whopping 70%. This isn't just simple growth, it's a gold rush. The pie is bigger, sure, but the fight for every single slice, well, it's gotten absolutely brutal.
So in a fight this fierce, someone's got to be losing, right? And the data is crystal clear on who the victims are. It's the gyms that are stuck right in the middle. You know the ones. They're not special enough to be a cool niche, but they're not big enough to compete on price or scale. They're just stuck.
And this right here, this is the exact trap they walked into. To get a quick injection of cash, chains like True Yoga started pushing these huge prepayment deals. Pay for 3 years, get 1 free. And yeah, it brought in a ton of money up front. But it turned into a complete nightmare. All of a sudden, the gyms were packed, you couldn't get into a class to save your life, and the whole member experience just fell off a cliff. The very thing that made them money ended up being the thing that killed their business.
Chen Shangyi, the chairman of Fitness Factory, really nailed it when he said this. It's not enough to just buy some equipment, hire a few trainers, and open the doors. Not anymore. To survive in this market, you need a real, thought-out strategy. So, enough about the losers. Let's talk about who's actually winning and how they're doing it.
So how do you win in a market like this? Well, our first case study is a company called Curves. And what they did was, well, it was pretty radical. They looked at this whole gym war, all the fighting and competition, and they just ignored it completely. Instead, they went off and created their own market from scratch.
Here's the genius move. They realized that everyone else was fighting tooth and nail over the same tiny group of people, the 5% of the Taiwanese population that already had a gym membership. So Curves said, forget that. They decided to go after the other 95%, that massive, completely untapped market that nobody else was even looking at.
And they built their entire company around this one really powerful idea, to become the 7-Eleven of fitness. Think about that. Their goal was to make going to the gym as simple, as convenient, and as non-scary as just popping into your local convenience store for a drink. But, and this is key, they did it for a very, very specific type of customer. So how'd they pull it off? Okay, first, they made their spaces female only, so it was a comfortable, judgment-free zone. Second, they created the super efficient 30-minute express workout that anyone could fit into a busy day. Third, instead of setting up in some flashy city center, they opened right in the heart of local communities, where people actually live. But the most important piece, they weren't selling equipment, they were selling emotional value. They created a community where everyone, from young women to members who are literally 99 years old, felt like they truly belonged.
And that right there, that's the real product. Their CEO, Lin Hong Yuan, says it best. Curves isn't in the business of selling workouts. They're selling a sanctuary. It's a place where you can walk in and for 30 minutes, you don't have to be a mom or a boss or a wife. You can just be yourself.
So you might be wondering, does this whole community-first thing actually work? Well, the proof is in the pudding, as they say. Take a look at this. More than half of all their new members come from referrals from other members. Think about that. Their own customers are their biggest, most effective marketing team. It's incredible.
And when you build that kind of powerful community, you get insane loyalty. Check out this number, a 97.5% monthly renewal rate. That is just staggering. I mean, in an industry where people are notorious for quitting their gym memberships after a couple of months, a number like that is practically unheard of.
Okay, so that's one way to win. But now let's flip the coin and look at a totally different strategy. This is the path taken by the big guy, the corporate juggernaut of the industry, Fitness Factory. And they are just as successful,
but for completely different reasons.
And their chairman, Chen Shangyi, he doesn't pull any punches. He flat out says, if you ever see us start collecting annual fees, it means we're about to go bankrupt. I mean, wow, that's not just a statement. It's a direct shot at all those failed gyms we talked about earlier. He's basically betting the entire company's reputation on one single thing: ironclad financial discipline.
So they built their members' trust by doing the exact opposite of what everyone else was doing. No risky, high-pressure annual fees. Instead, it's a simple, strict monthly payment model. They even put a cap on how many personal training sessions a trainer can sell to one person. Why? Because it shifts the focus away from just making a sale and on to getting the client real results. That kind of transparency, that's their superpower.
And look, this discipline isn't just some nice idea they talk about. It's a hardcore system they enforce every single day. They've got external secret shoppers who come in to audit them. They hold themselves to this top-tier SGS International Service certification. And on top of all that, they're constantly running their own internal 360-degree reviews. The goal? To make absolutely sure that the member experience is the exact same high-quality experience, no matter which of their 83 locations you walk into.
All right, so we've looked at these two survivors, right? You've got the super focused niche community on one side and the massive disciplined giant on the other. They couldn't be more different. So what does this tell us? What's the big takeaway here? Well, it actually points to a very clear picture of what the future of this industry looks like.
What we're seeing are two very clear paths to victory. There's no middle ground. On one side, you have Curves, the specialist. They win with this laser-like focus on a specific community. And on the other side, you have Fitness Factory, the giant. They win with sheer scale, unwavering discipline, and, let's be honest, really deep pockets.
And there's actually a name for this. Experts call it the M-shaped market. Picture the letter M. Success lives at the two peaks, way up high on the specialized premium side or way up high on the mass market super efficient side. And that dip in the middle, that valley, that's the death trap. That's where you find the businesses that tried to be just average. And it's exactly where all those bankrupt gym chains ended up.
And here's the kicker. This is not just about gyms, not by a long shot. This M-shaped hollowing out of the middle is happening everywhere you look. Think about retail, restaurants, even the media we consume. It seems like in today's world of extremes, the absolute most dangerous place you can be is stuck in the middle. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Where else are you seeing this happen?